After saving an alien lion cub, a human man is surrounded by the pack. Beginning, Elias Rourke had never thought the edges of the galaxy would feel so empty. His survey ship, Wayfarer's Rest, drifted silently above the untouched world of Arathon 6, a planet wrapped in emerald jungles and misty mountains. He'd come here chasing mineral reports and contract bounties, but mostly he was running. From debts, from people, from a life that had grown too heavy back on the core worlds. Another day, another planet no one cares about, he muttered, stepping out his shuttle and into the humid air. His boots sank slightly into moss-covered stone, and the cries of unseen creatures echoed through the trees. Arathon 6 was officially catalogued as uninhabited, but Elias knew better. Remote sensors had picked up life signs, large, predatory ones. And where there were predators, there were usually riches in the form of biological patents. The corporations paid top credit for DNA samples of exotic beasts. For hours, Elias trekked through the undergrowth, scanning the flora and recording data into his wrist pad. He was just about to call it a day when a faint sound drifted through the jungle. At first, he thought it was the wind. But no, the sound was softer, higher pitched. A cry, a whimper. He followed the sound down into a ravine where the trees gave way to jagged rocks. That's when he saw it. A cub. It looked like a lion, but larger. Its fur shimmering faintly with iridescent streaks that caught the fading light. 6 legs tucked beneath it. Golden eyes squeezed shut in pain. Its paw was caught between 2 stones, twisted at an awkward angle. Blood matted its side where something had raped it. Damn, Elias whispered. His instinct was to walk away. Interfering with alien wildlife was dangerous. But the cub let out another broken cry, and something in him cracked. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was guilt from the past. He dropped to one knee and carefully freed the paw. The cub flinched, baring tiny fangs, but was too weak to fight. Elias pulled a medkit from his pack, spraying sealant over the wounds and injecting a mild painkiller. There you go, little one. You'll be fine, he said, his voice softer than it had been in years. The cub blinked up at him, its golden eyes wide with something that looked far too much like understanding. That was when the ground trembled. From the shadows of the jungle, eyes appeared. Dozens of them. Shapes moved between the trees, massive and graceful. Elias froze. His gut told him what was happening before his mind caught up. The cub wasn't alone. Its pack had found him. Middle. They came silently. Creatures the size of horses, with rippling muscles beneath shimmering coats of alien fur. 6 legs carried them effortlessly across the rocks. Their faces were feline yet sharper, more intelligent, their golden eyes all fixed on him. Elias' hand twitched toward his holstered pistol, but he knew it was useless. One shot wouldn't save him against a dozen predators. The lead beast stepped forward, towering over him. Its mane shimmered with streaks of violet, as though woven with starlight. It lowered its head to the cub, sniffed, then turned its gaze to Elias. He expected the strike, the sudden tearing of claws. Instead, the creature stared. Its breath was hot against his face. The cub gave a weak chirp and nudged against Elias' leg as if vouching for him. Something passed between the beasts. They didn't attack. Instead, they circled him, their tails flicking, their movements deliberate. Elias realized with a shiver that this wasn't random animal behavior. They were testing him. For hours, the pack shadowed him. When he moved, they moved. When he stopped, they stopped. The cub limped beside him, now reluctant to leave his side. Elias tried speaking to them. His voice was shaky, but words made him feel less like prey. Look, I wasn't trying to steal your kid. Just helping. That's all. No answer, of course. But in their eyes, there was something, recognition, maybe. By nightfall, Elias was exhausted. He made camp near a waterfall, lighting a small plasma lantern. To his astonishment, the pack didn't leave. They settled around the clearing, their glowing eyes watching in silence. The cub curled up next to him, pressing into his side like a loyal dog. Guess I'm part of the pride now, Elias muttered. He didn't sleep much. not with predators close enough to tear him apart. The next day, he discovered something even stranger. The pack wasn't just following him. They were guiding him. When he strayed toward dangerous ravines, they blocked his path. When he was thirsty, they led him to a hidden stream. When a serpent-like predator uncoiled from the trees, one of the great beasts pounced and ripped it apart before it could reach him. By the third day, Elias' fear gave way to awe. These creatures weren't mindless animals. They were something far greater. He began to observe them as a xenobiologist might. They communicated with low-frequency rumbles and sharp clicks. They hunted in coordinated silence, sharing food with the injured cub and with him. The leader even dropped a fresh kill at his feet one morning, as if acknowledging his place among them. Still, Elias couldn't shake the unease. Why had they spared him? What did they want? The answer came soon enough. On the fifth day, the jungle trembled with machinery. Elias recognized the sound instantly. Mining drills, dropships, engines tearing through untouched wilderness. A corporate expedition had arrived. Conflict. Elias had sold the location of Arathon 6 months ago to pay off debts. He hadn't thought they would come so soon. Now, he watched on the ridge as machines clawed into the earth, tearing apart the jungle. Armed guards stood watch as drones scanned for threats. And then they found one, the pack. Blaster fire lit up the trees as drones swarmed toward the alien lions. The beasts roared, scattering into the brush. Elias' chest tightened with guilt. He knew what would happen next. The corporations would wipe them out, capture a few specimens, and patent their DNA. Another miracle of the galaxy, reduced the numbers in a database. Not this time. He grabbed his calm and tried to warn the pack, shouting, waving his arms. The cub darted to him, eyes wide with fear. The leader appeared from the shadows, snarling at the advancing drones. Elias stood beside it, pistol raised. The first drone swooped in. He shot it down with a lucky blast. The explosion echoed through the trees. The pack roared and lunged, tearing apart the machines with claws and fangs. For the first time in years, Elias felt alive, not just surviving, but fighting for something that mattered. He moved with the beasts, covering their flanks, warning them of incoming fire. The cub stayed close, its small body trembling but defiant. The battle raged for hours. Guards pressed deeper into the forest, but the pack fought with unity and ferocity no army could match. Elias realized he wasn't just helping them. They were protecting him too. Finally, when the last drone fell smoking into the undergrowth, silence returned. The corporate forces retreated, at least for now. Elias knew they'd be back with heavier firepower. But something had changed. The pack gathered around him, their eyes glowing in the moonlight. The leader stepped forward and lowered its head until its brow touched his chest. The gesture was unmistakable. Acceptance. Elias Rourke, drifter and runaway, had been chosen. Ending. For weeks, Elias lived among the pack. He learned their hunting calls, their silent signals, the rhythm of their lives. The cub healed quickly, bounding beside him with playful energy. The beasts trusted him enough to let him ride on their backs, to share in their hunts, to sleep among them without fear. But peace couldn't last. The corporation returned, this time with gunships and firebombs. Elias knew the pack couldn't withstand that kind of assault, so he made a choice. Late one night, while the pack rested, he slipped away to the mining camp. His heart pounded as he hacked into the comm systems. He broadcast a warning across the galactic network. Live footage of the alien lions, their intelligence, their beauty, their coordinated defense. The feed went viral. Within hours, protests erupted on core worlds. The Interstellar Preservation Council issued an injunction halting all corporate activity on Arathon 6. The beasts were declared a protected species. By the time Elias returned to the jungle, corporate ships were fleeing orbit. He collapsed in relief. The pack surrounded him, the cub climbing onto his shoulders. For the first time in years, Elias didn't feel like a fugitive or a failure. He had a home, Maybe not among humans, but among something far purer. That night, under the alien stars, the pack raised their voices in a chorus of roars. And for the first time, Elias roared with them. He was no longer alone. He was one of the pride.